amongst other things. But let us get into how Jay-Z literally inherited beef with damn near the entire Queens at one goddamn time in the 90s.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Brenda Blackman, sitting in for Jennifer Valapi. There has been an arrest in the Godfather 3 theater shootout.
Shootings left 3 people wounded and a 15-year-old boy dead.
There's 3 dangerous men in Queens. There's Troy, Hamo, and E-Moneybags. Those are the 3 amigos. Those guys are dangerous.
He was allegedly involved in the Christmas Day gunfight between 2 gangs at the Sunrise Cinema on Long Island.
These guys is good guys.
Man, that takes me back right there. Just seeing that right there. If you from Queens, Sunrise Cinemas was the shit, bro. Like, I remember just walking up and it just you felt like you was actually going to the goddamn movies back then, bro. I'm sorry.
Me, you know what I'm saying? I don't, how it mixed up, how I got to that. I don't know how I got to that.
So when Jay speaks to Nas, he go, yo, man, we don't even make music for niggas like that, man. We only make music for niggas that get money. This is what Jay tell Nas.
I was married to E first cousin, and E and J bumped heads.
Nas calls E. E, what's up? Yo, man, that fucking nigga Jay, man, when I see that nigga on sight, I'm all over that nigga. I'm fucking his up on sight.
The year is 2000. Jay-Z with his Rockefeller crew goes on Hot 97 to freestyle for Funkmaster Flex. The artists that come with him to freestyle are Memphis Bleek, Beanie Siegel, Emilio Sparks, and E-Moneybags. They're sitting there, freestyling, and having a good time. Before coming...
Now, you can probably already tell what's pretty much going to happen here. There's a guy named E-Moneybags, and then there's a guy in the street already in New York called E-Moneybags.
To the station, Memphis Bleek had an idea that this would be a perfect opportunity to premiere a new artist.
Juju, what it do?
Mentioned E-Moneybags. Prodigy, one half of the hip-hop duo Mobb Deep, was driving his car to the studio and by sheer coincidence was also listening to the same station. The Rockefeller crew was taking rounds around the microphone, freestyling, when all of a sudden, it was Bleek's time to spit rhymes.
I was listening to it because he was going in. I was like, okay, he's going in. Let me, before I get out the car, let me finish listening to the radio. You know what I'm saying? So I'm listening. All of a sudden I hear Beanie say, I creep on like a quiet storm. I'm like, hold up. You know what I'm saying? Like, this nigga trying to go at us just now. So I'm listening closer now. So now then he had some nigga named E-Moneybags up there rapping. All right, E-Moneybags. So now I go in the studio. I said, yo, E, come outside real quick. So E come outside. I'm like, let's do this. So E like, what did he just say? E-Moneybags? Who the f*** is that?
Together with E, they both took it as a sign of disrespect and...
You called it right. E-Money was on demon time 24/7. His literal... Before, we don't have to necessarily watch a summary of him, but E-Moneybags was literally the main guy running around robbing rappers in Queens. There's no allegedly to it. He's already dead and gone. Rest in peace. E-Moneybags was literally running around robbing everyone. I mean everyone. Okay? That was his claim to fame. Was you had it, he wanted it, he got it.
Decided to call up the station and get the record straight. A couple of minutes later, the station picks up the phone. Prodigy, without hesitation, asked them to get Jay. At first, they claimed that he had already left the studio and that there was nothing that they could do. He stayed persistent and asked them to look around. Maybe he was still there. After a couple of minutes of waiting, the studio folks managed to catch Jay-Z near the elevator and got him back inside. Jay picked up the phone and the conversation got heated instantly, with Prodigy, Jay-Z, and E-Moneybags going back and forth at each other over the
they said, no, Jay, get back in here.
Phone. While it may seem confusing at first, E-Moneybags wasn't just some random guy from the street, but a legend to many in the New York streets. Less known for his MC skills, he was a real deal, with connections not only on the streets, but all around the music industry. Born Eric Smith, he went to Westinghouse High School, the same one attended by legends like Notorious B.I.G., Busta Rhymes, and none other than Jay-Z himself. According to Prodigy, they weren't strangers either, with both of them attending the school at the same time, before E moved to Left Rock City, Queens.
Bags told me that y'all went to high school with Jay-Z. I'm like, what? Bags said, nigga, I'm from Sumner. I'm like, oh, get the out of here, yo. You from Brooklyn, nigga? He's like, man, Jay-Z went to high school, man. Come on, man. He's like, that nigga used to talk ill. Like, man, that nigga went to high school, man. So I'm like, oh, that's kind of crazy, man.
He was a stick-up kid who didn't bow down to nobody, and if needed, used his gun to solve his problems. His notorious street reputation included extortion, selling drugs, armed robberies, and murder. In 1990, Bags was a part of a shootout at the premiere of Godfather 3 in Valley Stream Theater that unfortunately claimed the life of a 15-year-old kid. The shootout was between the E-Moneybags crew, who called themselves the Young Guns, and the Lost Boys gang. Bags was alleged to be one of the shooters when an argument between two groups erupted.
Nassau County cops say tonight they've arrested a 17-year-old from Queens. He was allegedly involved in the Christmas Day gunfight between two gangs at the Sunrise Cinema on Long Island. The shootings left 3 people wounded and a 15-year-old boy dead. Police actually arrested the teenager Thursday night, but kept it a secret, they say, until they were sure. He is charged with reckless endangerment and criminal possession of a weapon.
When police got to the scene, they retrieved 25 bullet shells from 5 different guns. 4 people got hit during the shootout. All of them were innocent bystanders. 2 of the victims got hit in the arm and neck, but fortunately, none of their injuries were fatal. Third victim was a 17-year-old kid who played basketball for his high school, who also survived the shooting, but got hit in the eye and subsequently lost the sight. The last victim was a 15-year-old kid named Tremaine Hall. He unfortunately caught a stray bullet to the head and ultimately died at the scene. While the lives of victims and their loved ones changed forever, Bags' notoriety spread and he continued to make connections all over the Queens. More specifically, he started hanging out more in Queensbridge, home to legendary rappers like Mobb Deep.
So this picture right here literally can tell you how the early beginnings of the Jay-Z Nas beef began, as well as why you saw Prodigy on a Summer Jam screen. So now you guys can pretty much, new eyes, what it do? See, this is why I started it late. This is why I started late on purpose. Fairy B, if this pod make it, you are a part of its royalties. We're going to get you in the suburbs. You scam me right now with this left rack shit. New eyes, what it do? What it do? What it do, sis? What it do? This particular picture right here tells you exactly where Jay-Z's early beginnings of his beef actually started with Queens.
And Nas.
Shamik started bringing E-Moneybags to Queensbridge. So that's how I met Bags. You know what I'm saying? The Bags, they started hanging out with Nas and all that. So that's how I met Bags. Bags like, yo, what up? P, you the God, P. P, you the God, P. Niggas can't f with you, P. He used to be, you know, that was my nigga, son. He loved Mobb Deep. That nigga loved me, son. That was my nigga. He really was feeling my music, you know what I'm saying? And me as a person, like, he could always tell me, like, yo, son, you that nigga, son. You know what I'm saying? For real, son. Niggas gotta give it up to you, son. Niggas don't give it up to niggas is bullshit, son. They lying. So, whatever, you know what I'm saying? That was my nigga. I was real close with that. Well, me and him got real close through Shamik and through Nas.
In the early 90s, he was heavily affiliated with the rap crew Live Squad, which consisted of Stretch, Majesty, and K-Lo, who were also closely tied to Tupac. While Bags didn't understand Pac's revolutionary mindset, he respected his heart, and when Pac got locked up on false sexual assault accusations and after the Quad Studio shooting, unlike many of Live Squad and Pac's friends from New York, he was one of the only ones who visited him in jail and hospital.
E-Moneybags himself. So you see, again, how deep-rooted this shit go back with Jay.
Unfortunately, their friendship was cut short because Pac didn't like the fact that Bags was still cool with Stretch and Big, people whom Pac was blaming for setting him up.
You heard about E? Talking shit on him, son. Niggas gonna know about E.
Moneybags, firm, baby.
That's next icon.
In the house, love the same, firm. That's enough. If it ain't rough, it ain't right. You know how I go.
Inspired by being around Prodigy and other successful rappers, seeing how much money there is in the music game, Bags decided to also start rapping. He released his own solo album, In Bags with Trust.
Let me cook, icon. Let me cook. Let me cook. Trust me when I tell you. This got something to do with it.
1999. Although a lot of people say the album is neither good nor bad, the features were superb. It included Nas, Nature, Cool G Rap, CNN, and Live Squad. The lineup itself should serve as an evidence of how respected and well-connected E-Moneybags was. One of few close to Pac, Biggie, Nas, Prodigy, and Big Stretch. As a cherry on top, Bags was even mentioned in 50's song, the one that got 50 shot up, called Ghetto Quran.
Hey Luke, Mel, son, Troy, and E-Moneybags.
At the time of a phone call to the station, Jay-Z was very well aware of E-Moneybags, making the whole situation even more personal. On top of all of it, Jay-Z's relationship with Prodigy and a lot of East Coast rappers were also not in a great spot. East Coast rappers took great offense when Jay-Z in the song Cash Money Hoes said the line,
What's dealing, huh? It's like New York's been soft ever since Snoop came through and crushed the buildings.
That line right there single-handedly got Jay in beef with the entire goddamn New York rap scene. The whole scene. That one line right there. New York been soft ever since Snoop came through and crushed the buildings. This was right after the whole East Coast, West Coast beef thing. This was literally post East Coast, West Coast beef. Biggie just passed. Like, I want to say 2-3 years prior. Yeah, about 2 years, about 2.5 years prior, when he said this. Yes, yes, yes. What's my X Flow was danger, and that's another. One day we are going to get into the pettiness of. I wish I had time. I wish I had time to add that in. Jay-Z's pettiness with X. That's a whole nother part in itself. Them two. I'll leave when I do what happened to DMX, we will include that. Anyway, this particular line right here got Prodigy pissed, Nas pissed. Who else was up? Joe said something to him at the time. A few rappers was a little bit upset that he even said that. Hell, X was even upset that he said that.
This line was a reference to Snoop Dogg and West Coast duo The Dog Pound crushing the Twin Towers in their video for their record, New York, New York. Prodigy and others not only felt disrespected because it was thought as Jay was dissing them for not standing their ground, but even made them furious about the fact that during the peak of East Coast and West Coast tensions, Jay-Z was nowhere to be found, and rappers like Prodigy and Havoc had to take it upon themselves to defend New York with records like B.l.a.c, L.A. The tension between Jay and the rest of the East Coast had been building up for years, but for Prodigy and E, this was the final nail in the coffin. They continued to go back and forth over the phone for some time.
So before they even get to that conversation, in that little bit right there, you can also pinpoint to where Prodigy and Pac's situation also came from. Remember Pac, don't you want little niggas got sickle cell or something? That whole LA thing. See how history pretty much this, like I said, this is how deep it goes back with Jay's particular beefs.
Until Bags had enough of it.
He came back upstairs, got on the phone. Yo, what's up, yo? I said, yo, man, somebody want to talk to you. Gave the phone to E. He like, yo, what up, nigga? Hey, yo, who this? He said, E-Moneybags, man. What up, nigga? Yeah, oh, what up, yo, what up? Yeah, yo, what up with this? Who is H-Moneybags, son? Who this nigga you down there? Come on, nigga, you don't try to play me, son. You know, niggas think that's my name, son. That's my shit. That's what I'm running with, nigga. You got somebody with my name, nigga? And him and Bag start arguing. So then Jay-Z says something to Bag like, nigga, I don't give a f***, whatever, nigga, whatever. Bag like, whatever? Oh, nigga, so all right, you know what it is when I see you then, right?
I was laughing too damn hard. Like, the fact that he was barking on him live on the radio. That's the thing. He was barking on Jay. Nobody ever really did that. Let's just keep it 1,000. Nobody's ever really balked on Jay like that. Quiet as kept. E-Moneybags is literally one of the only people that's been able to do that. Literally. Jay didn't like that at all. And yes, Prodigy was on Quiet Storm. Again, another song where Prodigy threw his subliminals. It's Murder, yeah. It's Murder was one of my favorites right there. The joint with X and Ja and Jay-Z. That beat was crazy right there. But E-Moneybags was, as Fury B said, again, back on demon time. And he was ready to ride pretty much not just for Prodigy, but he was ready to ride for the for the entire New York. He was ready to ride for the whole New York, as far as Jay-Z saying that line right there.
So then Jay-Z said, yeah, you know what it is. And then I was like, oh, word? All right, cool. Bang, hang up, right? Then, burn, son. I'm going to fire this nigga, son. This nigga playing games with me, son. I'm clapping this nigga. Ah!
According to Majesty and Homicide, E took the situation personally, not only because he was biting his name, but also because he was helping out Jay before he had become a big star.
When Jay wasn't popping, when Jay wasn't popping, he used to bring his tape to E, so because he wanted him to give his tape to Ed Lover to play in the morning.
Yeah.
So Jay used to go, all the heavy hitters in New York, Jay would bring his tape personally to the heavy hitters in New York, and E was one of the heavy hitters.
Playing that shit in the
you know what I'm saying?
and
so
you know
now when
And then the plot thickens. E-Moneybags knew Jay on a personal level, as you just heard. Jay would bring E-Moneybags his music and a few other a few other, as he said, heavy hitters. Pretty much what he's saying was dudes that was getting it. Know what I'm saying? He pretty much was the people that were the plugs that would get it to the street DJs at the time. See, back in the day, it wasn't no social media, so it wasn't no Spotify and iTunes and all that other shit. This was mainly you had to get your shit out word of mouth, or there was no getting it out. Yes, Pun did do that. I think that's another one. You see, that's the crazy thing, right? Jaguar Wright said it. Yeah, the Diddler got his skeletons in his closet. But Jay got at least 3 or 4 different closets. If we talking about the bodies that he might be responsible for. We can leave that alone right now, of course, with, Pun, Pimp C, X, but the list of bodies is kind of interesting with Jay. Anyway, as I said, what's explaining here is E-Moneybags was one of the main people to help out Jay-Z back in the day when the days of Reasonable Doubt in my lifetime, the first In My Lifetime was out. He was one of the main people, one of the main sources to getting his music out.
It's time for E doing the same shit. Now that you done made it already, nigga looking for him to like, yo, nigga, I ain't nobody now just because you doing it.
More and more East Coast rappers were starting to have problems with Jay, and now E-Moneybags was one of them. After he hung up the phone, Bags was furious. He called up Nas to tell him what was going on.
I forgot to say, Big L.
And Nas responded with, alright, I'ma call him. At the time, despite sending a couple of jabs at each other, Nas and Jay still had some sort of relationship and were in talking terms.
So Nas calls.
Yeah, I forgot about Big L. I forgot to say Big L.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like, E, what's up? Yo, man, that nigga Jay, man, when I see that nigga on sight, I'm all over that nigga. I'm fucking his ass up on sight when I see his ass. So he like, oh, all right, so what's up? We got beef with this nigga? Like, yeah, we're on sight. We on this nigga up here, all on the Queens beats, nigga, fucking violating it. So Nas is like, what? All right, boom, hang up. I don't know if Jay called him back or he called Jay. Well, they speak. So when Jay speaks to Nas, he go, yo, man, Why he bugging the fuck out, man? Yo, man, we don't even make music for niggas like that, man. We only make music for niggas that get money. This is what Jay tell Nas. And Nas tell that nigga, yo, hell no, I make music for everybody. And he was like, I'm just saying, you know what I mean? We make money for the money niggas. And Nas told him again, no, I make music for everybody.
This statement really upset Nas, and they started to go back and forth over the phone. This incident escalated their beef to another level, and everything from there on end started to get serious. According to the rumors on the internet, it is alleged that during the next few weeks, Jay didn't leave his house in fear that b.l.a.c, with his reckless nature, was going to handle his business in broad daylight. During this time, apart from Prodigy and others dissing Jay on their records, b.l.a.c himself recorded a couple of diss songs aimed towards Jay-Z. One of those diss records was called The Gospel, which was unfortunately his last song ever.
Jay wanted Nas in his dead president's video. Who the hell you think he hollered at, yo? Real connected with real. Those were the days, and it ain't my fault. He didn't accept the invitation. You sample my thuns. Now I'm on joints and with my thuns. Name the time or place, you won't even come. I know it is arc, you something similar. Not knowing your part. Life was an act, you should have been playing it smart. It's killing you. You're facing the real. You know I ain't nothing like Mace. I ain't a straight beat cocked to your grill. We up in the place with it tucked in the waist.
The situation on East Coast was dark and tense, but right before E could do anything, Sauce Money, another New York native who worked with Jay-Z in his earlier career, was married to E-Moneybags' first cousin at the time, and in his own words, fortunately, I was in a good situation where I could arrange a phone call between both of them. Thanks to Sauce Money, they worked out their differences in the end, and the paranoia that he was going to get him was finally lifted off Jay's shoulders. Unfortunately for E, his reckless attitude eventually caught up with him, and soon after the situation with Jay-Z was finally over, he managed to escalate his beef with Kenneth Supreme McGriff, a leader of a Supreme team and a drug kingpin in Queens.
But notice who he's taking a picture with. So, how E-Moneybags unfortunately met his demise was him. They're going to get into it right now, of course, but E-Moneybags fucked around with Kenneth McGriff. And Supreme pretty much was big in the street. Big time in the street. And they're not going to, I don't know if they're going to get into it right here, but Supreme pretty much was allegedly behind 50 getting hit 9 times. Again, do you see how deep the plot thickens?
Unfortunately, this time, it ended tragically.
A couple weeks later, you know what I mean, Bags had beef with Preem, you know what I'm saying? Because Bags was going to buy a car, you know what I'm saying? And Preem was selling it. So he put a down payment on it. And I had did some music with Bags, and I paid him for it because Bags did a beat on the Murder Music soundtrack. So I paid him for it. So Bags like, oh, I got this money now. I ain't gonna do the other shit I was about to do. I'm gonna get my money back for that nigga. So he went, well, I need that back. Preem like, nah, you can't get that back. I was like, what? I need that back. And nah, you can't get that back. Oh, okay. Bags seen the nigga behind the Coliseum one day. Seen him sitting in the car, walked up on his car, pulled out, shot his car. Nothing hit Preem. It hit Black Just. Black Just was still alive. He got shot in the thigh. You know what I'm saying? And probably somewhere else, I don't know. But Preem takes Black Just to the hood and tells somebody else to take him to the hospital. Black Just dies from bleeding to death. So now, you know, niggas is after Bags for that. So now Bags telling me like, yo, man, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I ain't mean to kill Just, you know what I'm saying? I was trying to kill Preem, you know what I'm saying? It was a mistake. I ain't mean to kill Just, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, he like, the niggas after me. I don't give a though, you know what I'm saying? I don't give a what happened? Well, I'm gonna kill that nigga Preem when I see him.
In 2001, in retaliation for Black Just murder, Supreme ordered multiple hitmen to perform hits on 4 of his enemies. It included Big Nose Troy, Green-Eyed Born, 50 Cent, and E-Moneybags. On July 16th, At 9:45 p.m., at Queens Village, 4 gunmen crept up behind his Lincoln Navigator while he sat inside, smoking, and fired over 40 rounds into his vehicle, hitting him over 10 times and ultimately killing him. He died with a gun in his hand.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Brenda Blackman, sitting in for...
They weren't in the same studio when they did Renegade. Juju, they weren't in the same studio. But so now, like I said, that puts context, again, as you heard in the end there, Preem put a hit on E-Moneybags, 50 Cent, and a couple other dudes. And you saw who Preem took a picture with. You literally heard shortly after E-Moneybags had the situation with Jay, he lost his life. As you saw who he's taking a picture with. Now, as you would later on see, Preem was heavy friends with who? Irv Gotti and Ja. Hell, he pretty much funded Murder Inc. That was why the feds had to run up in Irv and them shit, because they kept saying that it was allegedly drug money that was used to fund Murder Inc. and it was a money laundering. So yeah, 40 rounds, insane, and absolutely insane. Shit like that was going on in Cop Killer Queens though. Shit like that was going down back then, but you literally heard there how Jay's beefs are very deep rooted within the music industry. So this was one of the first instances where people kind of got I'm not going to say fear, but people started to watch who Jay was actually connected to when they said something about him. So that would, and I forgot, I think it was Juju that asked beforehand. Yeah, Juju asked beforehand. So this is who, let me see, who actually asked that before. I just want to make sure. I think it was either Juju or Icon asked. Who asked the hear the actual story with Jay? Let me look up here real quick. I think it was okay, yeah, it was Icon. It was Icon. Icon said it. All right, Icon Bunny, I got you. I got you.
One day in Vegas, Jay's at the crap table, and this nigga looks scared. Yo, who was that nigga sitting next to Jay? Supreme all in that nigga ear. But you know Jay about to shit his pants, allegedly. Y'all want to know who saved Jay-Z ass? Supreme was getting Jay ear. Here come Beans, come downstairs. Beans grab a chair and pushes that shit in the middle of Supreme and Jay-Z. Jay, you turn around, look at Supreme. What, nigga? It's a Broad Street bully. It's my son, nigga. Fucking with my son, nigga. Supreme knew that conversation was over.
Needless to say. So if it wasn't for the Broad Street bullies stepping in with that little chair in between, Jay was pretty much either going to get a smack across his head or something else was going to happen right then and there. But needless to say, Preem did eventually catch up to Jay. And that is why that picture was also taken later on. Preem had to pretty much forcefully gain his respect from Jay. Needless to say. But again, legend would have it later on, business would be done amongst the three, Irv, Jay, and Preem. Okay? Now, the other part of that beef, I have to be more transparent to it before we move along, is the fact that before Preem and when Preem and Jay really were beefing, it was because of the whole Rockefeller pattern thing. So they had the Rockefeller R's on certain shit, and Preem was doing the same exact thing, but it looked like it looked very replica to Rockefeller. So they had a little back and forth with that, pretty much, right? Moving along. As you heard, this is literally where the beef with 50 Cent stems from, right? So let's think about this, right?
I wasn't in the ad because of Jay-Z and them was putting it together.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they still harbor some energy towards me.
You think you were purposely left out of the ad?
No. I don't think. I think that they were saying the NFL has some issues with me that I don't know what those issues are. Like what is the issue? You see what I'm saying? Like, and I with M, because like with Nori he had communication. He said, yeah, I talked to the big homie. He was saying to Jay, he was telling me, the white boy wouldn't do the truth without 50.
I hit the homie, the big homie Jay-Z, right? And I told him to come pull up on me. And he pulled up on me and he said, the white guy called for 50 Cent. So I said, who's the white guy? I'm digging this Jimmy Iovine. And he said, no, Eminem called directly for 50. And he said,
that's his guy.
He said, I can't do it if I can't bring 50 up.
But that's his guy.
Right? And I'm like, that's when I start saying crazy stuff, because I look and I go, oh, that's your big homie, right? And so he imaged himself after a gay painter. The big homie want to look like a gay painter.
What are we talking about here?
We're talking about Basquiat. He wants to look like a gay painter.
Oh my God, I think I know where we're going with
So
this.
now look, what I'm saying to you is, look, when you start looking at, that's not mine, that's theirs, they Harper, right? But when you look at, M is looking at the entire legacy.
Yeah.
The whole thing, like with M, Dre, and myself, like that. I'm a shady actor.
Now, I know you now. So 50 pretty much, has always had, ever since even, I'm about $1. What the fuck is 50 Cent? When 50 did the How to Rob record. Yeah. Mad Rapper was on it, right? Back in the day. There were two versions of that How to Rob, actually. Before the Mad Rapper got on it, the original version is the one that was out in the street on the tape. Jay heard that and gave him his response live on stage at the same concert that 50 was at, that they were at together. Jay walks up to Fifth and says, I got to get you, right? Walks on the stage and goes, I'm about $1. What the fuck is 50 Cent? 50 takes that as great acknowledgement. It wasn't a let me run on the stage and knock this nigga out type of shit. It was a 50 understood that and said, okay, I'm here now. I've arrived. One of the big wigs notices me, because Jay's not going to just say anything to anybody that's not hot at the time. Literally, that is what helped boost 50's career. Jay-Z acknowledging 50 Cent. If Jay hadn't acknowledged 50 Cent that day on the stage, we might not know who 50 Cent is. To be honest with you, 50 has said that himself. We might not have 50 Cent if Jay didn't go, I'm about $1. What the fuck is 50 Cent?